Hello and welcome along to a review video, one I've been dying to do for a couple of weeks now since I sent away for this title, and it arrived today. I've checked it out. There's key scenes that I thought would look good and they look unbelievable, and it is the 4K version of Zombie, or in the UK, Zombie Flesh Eaters, or in Italy, Zombie 2. So yes, Blue Underground have delivered, they did a 4K remaster of a Blu-ray in 2018. Now, they have now taken that master that they have, which looked great on Blu-ray apparently, but I never had that particular version, and they have made the 4K, a true 4K master of that edition, and it looks unbelievable. On my 4K player, it was coming in at around about 90 to 100 megabytes a second information, which is quite very high on you know, some of your big blockbusters struggle to come in at that rate. So for that reason, you know, you're going to get an exceptional picture quality by a quick bit rate, you know. So also there's a Dolby Atmos track, as well as a 5.1, the 2.1, but I went for the best one, and the bits I've heard, gunshots, people shouting, people on megaphones, things like helicopters, really seem to be high up in the mix. They also seem to have, the dialogue is good, it's well mixed. There's no thunder and bass in it, but I don't think that this film would benefit too much from thunder and bass. I don't think that's its style. Although I've never thought of it in that way, as a sort of really like a noise fest when it comes to that. As long as the audio is crisp and spread out, which it is, that's good enough for me, especially with a film that, you know, it's more a visual treat for me than an audio treat, but the soundtrack is absolutely amazing. So yes, so when I got this from Diabolic DVD website, it's the first time I've ever bought off them. It's coming about literally under 2 weeks. It costs £37.15 to import the film and the postage. I think the postage was about £11. But if you think about it, that what you're getting for it, for the £37, you're getting your slipcase as well, because you've got to act quickly if you want the slipcase, because I believe it's like quite on its way sort of thing, you know, to be not even available anymore. It doesn't say how many it's limited to, but it does say on the website that that they're struggling to sort of have any more, if you know what I mean. It's going to be running out. So I had to get out the slipcase because obviously I like the slipcase to have, to keep all my, it's a little bit of an OCD thing, you know, all the other ones have got slipcases, so I think that I had to go for it maybe a bit quicker. I don't think you can wait too long on a title like this, because what happens if it, you know, falls out of print, which I don't think it will, and you just makes you wonder, that is £37 quite a good price, because already on eBay it's going for about £60, which is massively overpriced. You may be able to get it cheaper than £37.15 if you shop around. But I must admit that with importing this, and also I've got Maniac on the way, which isn't here yet, I'm quite happy to think that to have that price, if it comes in this condition, you know, the slipcase is completely ding-free, you know, and that's all you want at the end of the day. If you pay big money, you want something to come in pristine condition. Also, I was able to still keep the shrink wrap on. Now, it's a bit of an OCD thing as well. I could do the same with Suspiria for some reason. It's still got the discount and everything. It's just the fact is it just protects it a little bit more. Also, the disc itself is region free. So anybody in the UK who import it, you get your disc, you get your Blu-ray, the 4K, the Blu-ray of the special features. You don't get a Blu-ray movie, and you can play it straight out of the box. You can play all the extras. You don't need a multi-region player for this. So for me, you can get all the 4K, and I suppose your Blu-ray quality will be boosted up a touch on the 4K player. so you get everything straight out of the box, and you can watch it straight away. You don't have to put in a multi-region player or anything like that, which is a benefit. So you get some extras on here. You get about, I would say, about two hours extras on here. You get a great interview from Stephen Thrower on disc 1, which is when the Earth spits out the dead, and it's I haven't watched it all, but I'm going to watch it tonight, and it's to do with he's wrote a book about Fulci, and he seems like he knows pretty much everything there is to know about Fulci and all that, and you get a good little interview, little taste of what his early stuff was about as that, especially some of his early comedies, which I didn't really know anything about. You see a few clips of that, so yep. And so all in all, you got about 2 hours extras on here. So really, you're getting, you're getting a double disc version. You're not getting the Blu-ray, which if you got a 4K, I don't understand why you would want to go back to like having the Blu-ray capability, because to me, if I ever get a 4K film, I never watch the Blu-ray on it anyway. There's no point unless the extras are on there, So if you did want a Blu-ray for any reason, you could always go for the Arrow Blu-ray. It's a good Blu-ray. There's nothing the matter with it. It's region B locked, obviously, with it being Arrow. And you can usually get it for under £10 on eBay or even on Amazon. So you're not going to break the budget if you just want to have the capability of having everything. There is a 2-disc version of this film from Arrow. It's a white box one, and you're looking about £50 for that. Bit of an extravagance, but if you want it, you can have it. I sold my the white box one because, to be honest, although that is a double dip, I really would like to think that I don't really need that one. I'm going to weigh up the pros and cons of this one. If I don't need it, I can just sell it on eBay and keep this one, and then I'm done. I don't think you would ever need to buy this one again. You've got it on your 4K, unless you haven't got a 4K player, or you just want to if you wanted to get it with a Blu-ray, it may be not the one to go for, but with a lot of more of these companies like Synapse, Blue Underground, Arrow, Second Sight and Vinegar Syndrome are now starting to dip the toes into 4K. You think that these films, which were never even talked about back in the day to be a 4K release, you would have just laughed if someone had said to you when 4K first came out, well, I bet Zombie Flesh Eaters is top of the list. I don't even think that was even thought of, but now, as you can see, these things are starting to pop out, and I'm sure with Blue Underground releasing 2 more Fulci films, New York Ripper and also House by the Cemetery, I think that we can see maybe the classics, the beyond that type of thing, trying maybe Grindhouse releasing might start to do 4K, I don't know. If they see that these things are taking off, because I'm pretty sure this is going to be a big seller. If they say these taking off, then they might start thinking again. I know it's expensive, but if they're going to get some money back, I mean, Second Sight's Dawn of the Dead, that might have been a bit of a risk, but I think that it looks as if that's going to sell very well, and that might spur them on to do more things. Even the big companies might start looking in their back catalogue and thinking, I wonder if we can release any really obscure horror films that everyone seems to be on about. Collectors in particular will go for this type of thing. So for me, I don't know if I'm going to keep this one, but I know at this point I've got everything I need to have. The extras, they're great. I watched them, but I don't think that I'm not one of these people who say, right, this one's got a second more in than this one, and I'm going to have to keep them both. I don't really go that far, because double dipping, shelf space, all that issues, I just feel like I just want one copy of one film, and I'll do me. If it's the best one, I'll keep the best one. The only way I'll keep 2 is for if one of them has different cuts of the film, or for some reason there's an amazing extra on there. Some of the Bruce Lee stuff, their extras are great, just not as good as the film, but you want to have them extras. So I've got multiple copies of Bruce Lee films, but that's a different story. So I think an honourable mention goes to, at this point, the sort of forgotten child of Fulci, which is Zombie 3, Zombie Flesh Eaters 2, and yes, it is crazy. It is daft, but it's also very entertaining, and I find it's a film that I really enjoyed when I watch it. Yes, it's no zombie or Zombie 2 or Zombie Flesh Eaters, but in a way, I don't look at Dawn of the Dead and say this is a sequel. And I know that Dawn of the Dead and Zombie are probably my top 2 zombie films, but I don't know who are put in the top at this point. It used to be Dawn of the Dead all the way. Zombie has probably come fast on its heels, and I think it's probably number 1 at the moment. But after I've watched them both again this year, maybe I'll tie them top. I don't know. This one will never topple them, but it's also anybody who has a love for schlocky, zombie rip-off type things with crazy plot twists and quite ridiculous dialogue, then they'll get a lot out of this. It's not a film that you can ever. A lot of people don't include it in the zombie pantheon, but I think it's a necessary film to have. This is the 2-disc 88 films release. You can get a 1-disc. The 2-disc one has an extra making of Power. No, it's not a making of. It's like a documentary. It's Lucio Fulci Remembered. It's okay. I wouldn't say it was brilliant, and it's not something I would think that I had to have it for that, but it was there, and I thought, well, I do like the slipcase mind. It's really nice. It's got that texture where it almost feels like, I don't know how to describe it, like sort of like wet, like sort of, I don't know, it's not glossy, obviously, it's not matte. It's kind of in between. It feels a bit like material. It's strange, but anyway, it's a great slipcase. So on that being said, for me, maybe my Zombie Flesh Eaters zombie days are over with now, and maybe they would only end up that way. But I would say, as a UK resident, that there is nothing too cost prohibited or you can't play it anywhere type of thing. You buy something that's region 1 locked, that's all that type of thing, and some of it doesn't work and all that type of that nonsense. I think you'd benefit vastly from having it. This is my personal opinion, and like I say, I can't wait to watch this tonight, and I can't recommend it highly enough. If you like horror films, zombie films, even, it's kind of a bit of like an action film as well. It's a bit like a sort of rip and yarn in a way, and it's got a bit of everything. And by far, it could be, for me, personally, it's Fulci's best film, because although I know Fulci does some good stuff, some of his films do not make sense all the way through. I know that can put a lot of people off. The ending is great. It's all usually the endings are something out of, you're sitting there scratching your head at the end of a film thinking, what was that ending all about? But this one is like a proper ending, a normal like film ending. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope I've informed you a little bit about, if you're sitting on the fence and you're not too sure about it. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you would like that. That'd be great. And if you want to leave any comments down below about what you think about this, if you think this has been helpful to you, or if you think that you want to know any more questions about whether or not you want to do it or not, or even questions about the presentation in itself, I'll be welcome to answer anything I can. Okay, so on that, I'll see you next time, and cheers.